Good.
Okay.
And we're away. So first up, Lisa, we're going to put you immediately on the spot. You made a call on a Mies ago at the start of at the start of our last show, and it took off. It took off and kept going up all day.
It did. It just took off. It didn't even get to my buy zone. Everyone just bought it. It was like crazy. So yeah.
Guess you've got to hang in there till the end of this episode. Lisa's clearly got another hot tip for us.
Yeah, I do.
On that note, great to see you again. Let's jump straight into the charts and see what's happened over the last week.
Yes, let's jump into those and we'll start sharing away.
Excellent. We've been practicing that before we recorded, so hopefully
we have. So yeah. There's no issues with our chart sharing today. So yeah, so we'll jump straight into BTC. So obviously, as last week I was saying, we had this the breakout traders, which essentially I said, you know, whales love to kill breakout traders, and
you nailed that call, didn't you?
Yeah, so that's a given. That's whale's favorite game is killing breakout traders. So I'm sure there was a few people stuck in that, and a few people liquidated, and you know that's what BitMEX love to do. Yeah, so we're in this pattern at the moment that we're kind of, you know, trading. It's a correction pattern. We're bouncing on the MAs. This is the 4-hour chart. It's a chart that I've got out on Twitter. So we're in the B wave at the moment, going in for the C wave here. So we're basically in our, let's go to here. So this is our A wave coming up for our B wave. And this wave here could go down to there, or it could truncate and come up to our first support. So depending on, you know, what whales want to do, we're going to see this wave up here. This could also be a fourth wave within our A wave. So, you know, it could be that we're coming still down to this point. We're coming up for our B wave here, and further down, grab the right wave, further down for our C wave. So they're our two patterns that we've got right now. So, you know, basically, you know, we're either going to hover on this first support and then break up through and head up.
Just to clarify, Lisa, what time frame are we looking at on this chart?
This is a 4-hour time frame at the moment. So yeah, so we can see within this breakout region, we had quite a bit of volume to get us there. Mm-hmm. Right now, to move us to this all-time, you know, resistance, all-time high resistance that goes the whole way down, we don't have a lot of volume. So we've actually
it's really dried up at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So, which is quite impressive to even get us to this point. So, you know, we're going to have just a tiny bit of volume to get us to here, and then we're going to retrace. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be an overly difficult thing to retest this resistance here. Yep. This is a dual resistance. So we've got this channel that we've kind of been forming the whole way. And yeah, so it kind of looks really good that we're going to, you know, retest the 10K mark, reject down again. Ideally, at some point, we'd like to hold above this resistance. So, you know, we're sort of battling with this at the moment, and we go over it, we reject down. You know, if it continues to reject down, that's when we get to these deeper retraces, and, you know, whales sort of get, you know, a little bit sort of angsty, and they're like, okay, we're not making any money. We're going to sort of, you know, kill all the longs at this point and take it down deeper. So that's when we might get to that second support. You know, there's a lot of charts still saying sort of the 5s. I'm not seeing that at the moment, just because we are holding a lot higher. And we've got, you know, people like Arthur from BitMEX that are tweeting that we're going to 15K. So enticing, enticing everyone to buy. So the thing is, when, you know, you see sort of tweets from people like Arthur, you've got to sort of really put that into to perspective, like obviously at some point we're probably going to go past those regions, but you know, he always tweets at resistance or support points. So around 8K, he was tweeting that we were going down and we went up. So then
you cracked the Arthur Hayes Twitter code, have you? You know how to read it.
Yeah, it's quite funny. It's quite funny. So, you know, and, you know, people are obviously going to get very excited. He's tweeting, you know, he's not manipulating the market, which he clearly is. And yeah, so just do the opposite of what Arthur says and you'll be right.
All right, you heard it there first, people. You know I'm going to tag him on Twitter now.
Probably. I've been tagging him on everything, so he's probably over me tagging him. So we've got our ETH chart now. So we should double top here and then see a correction probably around the 200 mark. We've got strong support of the MAs along here. This is a 12-hour chart, so this is a you know, quite a sort of, you know, a long sort of term chart. It's not your small move chart. So if we go down to the hourly, we can see that we're sort of fighting with the MAs within the region. So we're going over and above them.
Yep.
You know, that's kind of a good sign that we're sort of holding in those ranges. Okay. Because once you go up to the higher time frame charts, like the 12 hourly, like we're seeing here, we're seeing that the MAs are sort of hugging along this support line, which is a really good sign that, you know, once we hit these upper targets, we can come down. We're going to, you know, have the support of the MAs on the supports here. And, you know, so we've got supports, we've got this diagonal support here. So, you know, if we do come sharply down, there's a lot of support in this region, and that sort of should hold. So even if we get
for a newbie like myself and some of the others watching, would it be fair to say the Ethereum chart's looking fairly positive? For
Ethereum's looking really good. So
comparing it to BTC?
So BTC should have another move up here. So should Ethereum. We should see at least a double top here, if not a touch to the resistance point here. So we've got a channel that's formed along, so we can see this channel goes the whole way along. We've sort of poked above it, but most of the time we're sort of holding above and below, so within. So even if we do sort of test this, then come sharply down, we're sort of looking at about 210. We get a wick down, we might get to about 202. So, you know, that's kind of where I'd have my orders sort of placed. We've got a long-term support here now, which was our long-term resistance. So at 145. So if Bitcoin does sort of, you know, dive deeper down, Ethereum's going to sort of go down to these levels as well. So, which is, you know, it's still a good level. You're breaking the MAs at this point, which is probably not the best thing. But if we go down to the daily, we've got support here of the MAs on the 183 mark. So, you know, if Bitcoin comes down to, say, 8,400, I'd say maybe Ethereum's going to come down to 183. So, you know, it's still a good sort of position for Ethereum to be in long term, you know, to reach these kind of upper levels. So we've got 275 that is very achievable over the next couple of months. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things happening in that project. Obviously, you had a look at Amizago's chart last week, the one we took off. I actually, as I mentioned, it was something that I just from a fundamental point of view, I held that back in 2017 and just got frustrated. It never really did much. I mean, we get frustrated when Bitcoin goes sideways for a week. But Amizago did that for month upon month. But
some of these charts really do. Yeah, well,
Sorry, go on.
OMG's like got you know, some really interesting stuff happening. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you sort of look at these charts that are bottoming out and what they're doing right now, like with all the fundamentals, I'm not a big person on fundamentals, but just recently I have been looking at, you know, why these charts are moving, what's kind of happening with the projects, and many of the projects are starting to get a lot more sort of, you know, hitting their targets, hitting, you know, they've got mainnet launches, and, you know, Tezos has got mainnet launches, and so is EDO, and so there's...
Well, it was great that you made that call, Lisa, because as I say, I hadn't really sort of been following Ethereum particularly closely, all the projects on it. And then obviously when you picked Amizago from looking at the chart, as it's transpired, there is a hell of a lot of action happening in that project right now. So from a fundamental point of view, I'm actually going to look and see if I can get their CEO on for a chat. I think she's fairly new to the role. So yeah, it was great to sort of have my interest in that one sparked again by your call last week. So thanks for that.
Okay.
Some other interesting news out there. I thought I'd throw out there to wind up some of our viewers. I saw the report from Goldman Sachs, which really a number of points sort of come out of it. It sort of shows how little the space is still understood, especially by such a huge financial institution like these guys, where they actually said that the Bitcoin, 3 of the top 6 were almost identical clones of Bitcoin and these forks. I was like, that had me chuckling after all the shit that gets thrown around at us sometimes as well to and our supposed support.
Oh, it is, and this is the thing, and it's like, you know, while we know the difference and we know there's, you know, fundamental differences to all of the coins, and they're all doing, you know, they're doing similar but different things.
Yeah.
When an outsider looking in looks at it, it's like it all looks the same.
Pretty much.
So it's all just another car driving on the same road, and that's what they see. And it's like they're not looking deeper into what it actually does, whether it's got bigger block size, whether it's faster, whether it's, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking at it from a layman's point of view, what the hell does it do that's any different to Bitcoin? So,
yeah, I mean, some of the other comments they made as well didn't actually stack up. I mean, I think really sort of the innovation happening in BTC is obviously the, you know, interest on your coins is the biggie, which effectively is the same as a deposit bank account. So I would sort of disagree with that point they made there. And the other, you know, some of the other comments in there really do show that you know, that institutions don't have a good grasp of this. But in saying that, we're still seeing Grayscale, who we spoke about last week, the institutional money coming into that fund is it's really significant.
It's coming into the fund, but there's a bit of sort of, you know, questions as to whether Grayscale are actually buying BTC or they're just sort of leveraging. So whereas you never even own BTC, so, you know, it's like I've seen many different people sort of comment many different things on what they're actually doing. So,
Yeah, actually, on that note, I'll put a link below. There's one of your fellow Australians does quite a good show, a guy, Nuggets News. I was watching him yesterday where he said there's a very good arbitrage opportunity with Grayscale because they've got looking into the technicalities is something I need to do a bit more, but effectively it appears like there's $1,000 Ethereum on there at the moment. There's a link to that video below for anyone to check it out. But have a look yourself. He seems to think there's a great arbitrage opportunity there. It'd be good to get your thoughts on that as well. What are these?
So
what
I've got
for us, Lisa?
Okay, so I've got a BTC dominance chart here, which is at a critical point. So we've been in a channel for quite some time. So we're trading right on the edge. So if BTC doesn't sort of pick up and sort of move over that $10,000 mark, you know, and hold that level, we're going to see like quite a big drop here. So because we've got a lot of free space here underneath this channel. You know, I know my charts are always messy, but
I'm not seeing so many magnets and little symbols on this one today.
Well, this is a dominance chart, so it kind of doesn't need any symbols or magnets. So we just kind of need to know the basics, where the supports and resistance are. So we've rejected quite strongly here from this resistance region. So we had a cross resistance happening here. And we're right at the moment hovering on this channel support. So, you know, we've had, if we zoom in here, we're kind of moving sideways at the moment, which is what's happening in Bitcoin. But our sort of, you know, the volume that's coming into the dominance in Bitcoin is actually dropping right now. So we kind of need to increase the volume, the money coming into Bitcoin, to hold these levels, or else we are going to drop. So, which, you know, kind of goes into that sort of 8,400 mark. If that region doesn't hold, then, you know, we are looking at those lower regions that are coming into Bitcoin. So ideally, to get these higher levels that we're wanting, sort of, you know, the 15 to 20,000 sort of FOMO ranges, we want to hold this support here on this dominance chart. So it's really critical that this holds, that, you know, and that way BTC sort of holds these regions in here, these first and second supports, and we can continue higher. So, yeah. Okay.
What, where is there sort of clear air? I mean, we're obviously going through a fairly, for most people, if you're trading, I suppose it's been a fairly boring week. It's just sort of tracking sideways, trying to make its mind up which direction we're going. If there's a major breakout, what sort of numbers would we be looking at? Or where is that figure where we could have a significant move up or down, you know, sort of short term, week to 2 week type period? Or are we looking longer term for a major breakout? What's your thinking around that?
Yeah, so this is a 3-day chart. So this is a Binance 3-day chart, and we've got support coming in on the volume at around 7,000. So potentially, if we're going to drop, we've got free fall down to about 7,000, which is where our major support is sort of sitting right now.
Yep.
Once we get above this diagonal resistance that we've got here from our all-time high, which we're kind of hovering around at the moment, we've got all of this free air right here because we're under the parabola right now. So we're trading underneath that. So if we can sort of break this resistance here, then we have a resistance target, which is around sort of 16,000-ish. So, which is in line with what Arthur is tweeting. So he's saying 15,000. Yep. So, you know, if we can get 15,000, so that resistance target is 16,000, which is, you know, added FOMO. Because once we start sort of crashing through some of these, you know, minor resistances, then, you know, 16,000 is going to be quite easy. So, and even with some major FOMO, we've got a third wave target, 21,000. So, you know, that's provided we can hold these sort of regions here with the, you know, breaking above this all-time high resistance.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So I mean, the other sort of news that I took note of this week was that it appears like some of the miners are actually sitting on their Bitcoin now and not selling the hash rates at an all-time high. So interesting things happening there as well. And then obviously we've got this utterly, you know, if we sort of look, you know, obviously I'm coming at this show much more from a fundamental side of things, but it just astounds me that the Standard & Poor's and NASDAQ hit record highs on Friday.
Yeah, well,
this was the other interesting thing. This is the other interesting thing. You've got Goldman Sachs.
Printing money.
Oh, yeah, it's just incredible. I mean, this has got everyone shaking their heads, and then you've got Goldman Sachs looking at Bitcoin or crypto in general and saying, these markets are manipulated. It's too volatile. We're sitting here watching a Bitcoin tracking sideways. I don't think there's a huge amount of volatility, and our traditional markets clearly are manipulated.
Oh, clearly manipulated. So, USA just printing money like it's going out of fashion. So, yeah. So my chart of the week this week is, I'm pulling up, this is a Bitcoin pair. So I don't normally trade a Bitcoin pair, but this BSV BTC pair has hit a major support, and with BTC tracking sideways right now and probably going into an extended correction at this point down to that sort of 8,400 mark, which it will give, this BTC pair some added strength.
Oh, don't freeze on me at the crucial moment.
Going to sort of, so you're going to, increase your BTC. With a BTC pair, obviously
I might need you just to repeat what you said there, Lisa. My internet froze. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Caught that bit. It was
no,
right.
That's okay. So, so we've hit our target here, which is our long time support, and we're sort of going sideways on this. So if BTC corrects or continues sideways for a little bit longer, we could see this really take off. So BSV is renowned for really moving in quite strong movements, as we can see when it does move. So we have quite a bit of free air above here. So we could have quite a big move if BTC starts to sort of correct into a deeper fashion. Oh yeah, this is my chart of the week. It's a BSV,
close eye on BSV this week. That'll get chins wagging, as we say.
Can you hear my dog snoring?
Fantastic, excellent.
Did you freeze again?
So did I what? No. I don't think so. I think the audience got the gist of that. No.
I'm just sitting there talking to myself. It's fine.
We've got the chart of the week. Look at BTC and Ethereum. Very good. So thank you very much for your time. Short and sweet today.
It is. It's a short and sweet one. So not a lot happening in the market, so there's not a lot to talk about.
No. Well, what's happening in your life? Anything new?
No.
Rubbish.
Boring.
Don't believe you.
So I got a tattoo today, actually.
That's huge.
Yeah, there we go. All right, hang on.
I knew if I waited long enough, there'd be something.
Yeah, hang on. Try not to show you the blood. Wait, 2 seconds.
Oh, it's fresh.
It's fresh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk us through it. What does it say? We can't hear you, Lisa.
Oh my God. So I'm going to talk to the front of my computer. So it says, set me free. And then it's got a dandelion. And then it sort of flows off and it's got a little love heart. So
fantastic.
It's a girl tattoo. It's not like a big skull and crossbones on my arm. So yeah. Just a little delicate one.
Very good. So, Lisa, thank you so much for your time. We'll have a chat and a proper catch up off once I stop recording. And
what, they don't want to hear about my crazy life? No.
You know what? I'm sure they do. I just don't know whether you want to chat about it.
It's actually quite tame right now. So yeah.
Really? Very good. Has Twitter left you alone for the last few days, have they?
They have. Twitter's been boring.
Wow.
Come on, Twitter, come at me.
Careful now.
Careful what you wish for, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I must have been having a bad night last night. I put a post up there that I think my country should be nuclear armed. I don't know what was going on there.
What were you drinking, Sean?
I wasn't actually. I was just trying to wind a few people up. But, yeah, no, I don't drink on Sundays. Absolutely not. So let's have a chat off camera. And anybody who wants to follow you, absolutely jump onto Twitter. Where you're pretty much there daily, aren't you? With your
I am there daily, so they can ask me questions if they've got questions, then I'll try to answer them. And
yeah, no, you've made some fantastic calls again. You haven't put me wrong, so I do follow you on the daily, and massively appreciate your time on Mondays with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Always a pleasure. Thanks very much. And to everyone watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. I never say that. There you go. I've done it for the first time. So yeah.
No, it's not. It's smash the like button.
No, it's my own twist on it, Lisa. Smash those likes, people. Smash those likes. See you next week.